This video is brought to you by Nokian Tires, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made in USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantire.com/EV. This video is also brought to you by Magna, forward for all. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join us in Loveland, Colorado, where we are going to do a 10% challenge of not just one vehicle, but actually two of them. We have two pretty much identical Rivian R1Ts here. One that has the normal large battery pack that we're familiar with. My truck has this, most Rivians have it. But they just launched a new, bigger battery pack, we'll talk about that, called the Max Pack. And so many Rivian owners for years have been waiting on their order to get Max Pack, and a lot of them have been lured into getting the existing large battery pack. What we want to do is find out the differences between the two batteries. Both trucks are pretty much identically optioned, both on the 21-inch wheels, both with the dual motor drivetrain. So that's the newer drivetrain system, not the quad motor system like you've seen on my truck. This is the more efficient oil-cooled enduro drive units. And what we're going to do is run a 10% challenge simulating a road trip range between the Max Pack and the large pack. I have some explaining to do about some tonneau covers. We're doing our best to get it as even as possible. We're going to walk you through the testing procedures, and then we are going to send it at 80 miles an hour to see how much road trip range you can expect, to see if the Max Pack is even any faster on a long road trip. Guys, you all know the drill. We can simulate in a lot of our testing, and we do full charge range. That's from going 100% to zero. And we do that, and it's a great way to get an idea of how far an electric car goes on a charge. And we can also simulate how long it takes to charge from 0 to 100%. So we know the entire charging curve of a vehicle. The problem is no one does either of those things in the real world. So I developed a test that I think is a more real-world, realistic use case of an electric vehicle. The idea is when you're on a road trip hitting charger after charger after charger, when you're in the middle of the country, we all know the Max Pack is going to go farther on that first charge, as an example. But when you're hopping charger to charger, typically we find most drivers are comfortable pulling into a DC fast charging station like the Electrify America station behind me at about 10% state of charge. Now, if it's me or Jordan, we might be down to 1 or 2%. If it's my mom, she might be at 20%, but ultimately we settled on 10%. And I think that's sort of an industry standard now for charging. So what we do is we are actually going to drive these trucks down to 10%. The battery temperatures are identical. Everything is going to be as identical as possible. I even took the spare tire out of the Max Pack truck to even the weight difference, which there really is no weight difference between them. So what we did is we're going to plug it in 10% state of charge. We're going to juice up both vehicles for exactly 15 minutes at the highest power we can get. Thankfully, this station, we have dedicated power for each post. So each truck has its main feed where it doesn't share power, and we can get full 500 amps to each truck. And we're going to let them sit for 15 minutes exactly. After 15 minutes, we're going to unplug them, jump right on the highway, right down the road at 80 miles an hour, and see how far we can go in a loop to counteract elevation. Thankfully, there's no wind tonight, but it is cold. This is a cold weather 10% challenge, but the batteries are warmed. The trucks are preconditioned. This is really to simulate what happens in the middle of that road trip. And I don't know, what's your prediction, Jordan, here?
I think they'll be really similar.
I think they're going to be almost identical. Actually, driving here, we came from Wyoming down here, just ran the trucks side by side at 70 miles an hour, and the efficiencies were identical.
Yep.
Nears makes no difference. And I mean, here's the thing. The Max Pack and the large pack, it's the same battery pack. The only difference is a chemistry change, and it's $10,000 for that chemistry change.
And you get 50-ish more miles according to Rivian, which we'll test, but
yeah, so
that's when it's full charge.
This is like 350 miles EPA,
yep.
That's 410.
Yep.
And that truck does display 410 at 100%, because when I picked it up from Rivian, it was pegged up at 100%. So what we need to do now is, I think I'm at 16%, you're at 19%. We're gonna re-precondition to the charger, just drive around the area until we get to about 11%. We'll meet back here, let the trucks drain down from 11 to 10 on the heaters, plug them into the dedicated power. We're doing this late at night, so we have open roadways and we can sit at 80 miles an hour. The reason we chose 80 miles an hour is because our 70 mile per hour range tests are just a little bit too slow. It's good for comparable stuff, but ultimately most people drive faster than 70, and even the speed limits around here are 80 miles an hour if you go just a little bit north of town. So that's a very average American road tripping speed. And that's why we run every car. It's my favorite test that we do. It's a lot of prep work to explain this to you, but let's show you what's going on back here. So this is the manual tonneau cover. First time I've seen it. And this is our friend's truck, and I'm gonna leave the link to his business in the description. I believe it's called, I'm blanking on the name, but I don't want to. Jordan, do you remember the name of it? My Electric Home, something like that? Hold on. myelectrichome.org. I wasn't gonna miss it.
You were great, and Jason, yeah, was great to lend us this truck, and it looks really good. This silver color is nice.
Okay, let me tell you how epic Jason is. When I was picking up the review truck from Rivian, he was there, and this truck is like 3 days old. It has, when we got it, when you picked it up this morning at
123 miles, 123.
123 miles on the odometer. We have since broken in the tires, broken in the truck, ran it up into Wyoming. It's got a few hundred on it now. And Jason's just like, I'm going on vacation, have my truck for a week so you can compare it to the Max Pack. And that is such a cool thing that he's doing, not only for us, of course, but also to the Rivian community, because this has been the age-old question. So many people want to know, should they have waited for Max Pack? Should you upgrade? Should you even spend a couple $1,000 difference to get a Max Pack over a large pack? And here we have identically optioned trucks, pack for pack. Now, what I did was, I asked Rivian for the longest range truck they had, and that's this one. And this manual tonneau cover is from this truck. But I didn't want to like mess up Jason's brand new truck, so I used an experiment on the Rivian truck. And what I did was I needed another tonneau cover, and if you take a look here, hold on, let me unlock the truck really quick. Rivian app, hit unlock. Okay, thank you. I went to Home Depot, did a little cut twice, measure once situation, and I cut these, sort of boards of wood to be identical to fitting inside the tracks for the manual tonneau. What I really didn't want was to have one truck without a tonneau, one truck with. I wanted both. And I called Rivian earlier today because this all happened this morning, getting both trucks sorted. Jason was so cool. I made a post in the Colorado Rivian group, and he's like, yeah, take my truck. I'm like, dude, this is epic. And yeah, I was scrambling around, running to Home Depot, got this contraption sorted, and they do the same thing. They weigh about the same. All I really wanted was the air blocked off from going in the bed. So that's why this is literally just plyboard, but it works. It's solid. We've had it up to allegedly triple digits, and it's held on and hasn't flown off. So that's great. In terms of the battery pack differences, not in this video, but in a future video, I will run through the capacity differences of both batteries. That is always the big question. And I've actually set up a rig where I have a trailer on the back of my Rivian R1T, the quad motor large pack, with a winch on it, where I'm gonna run both trucks full to dead, and then see how many kilowatt hours I can pull out of them. And we're gonna do that on the same day in the same conditions like we're doing now. And Jordan is behind the camera helping me with all these crazy ideas, like we did when we had our first Rivian review truck.
It was Rivian week, and we didn't really sleep.
And this is not gonna be as crazy because
yeah,
we already,
this week.
Yeah, we're sleeping. We already know, I mean, I live with this. I've put 50,000 miles on my Rivian. You've driven my Rivian a bunch. Like, we know the truck. What we're trying to do is evaluate the dual motor, which we'll have a whole video coming. We've been learning a lot about the dual motor. Jordan, your truck broke down today.
Yeah, the rear motor just disconnected, and it was like, please service it. And you were like, pull it over, turn it off, turn it back on again. Very IT.
Yeah, you
answer.
did a reset. But like, that's a brand new truck that just threw like a major drivetrain fault earlier today. This has been clunking around on the rear end. I really like the dual motor, especially during my time at Normal. I made a whole video review of it, but my impression is maybe it isn't. Definitely isn't it? Like, this truck makes different sounds than that truck.
Yeah.
Like, there's something weird going on with the dual motor stuff. I just have to be transparent, which is why we did that efficiency run side by side coming down here, because if the efficiencies were way off, we would have canceled all the tests. But it seems like whatever we're hearing is not affecting the consumption of the vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay, enough said. Let's go drain these down. We'll keep the charger in the map to precondition, and then we'll set it up, load it up. Oh, a Kona got here.
Nice.
Dead too. Nice, proper out of spec arrival at like 5%. That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
Let's go.
Let's go run him down. Well, it looks like I beat Jordan back here, but I did see him in the parking lot circling around. The battery pack temperature is exactly where we want it, very close to the middle, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. One little trick with Rivians you can always do, actually they've changed it. You now have to go into settings, vehicle, service, and then service mode. For any of you like Rivian owners who try and gatekeep this code, it's out there. Everyone knows what it is, so it's no big deal. Tap the top bar 5 times, hit ride, tap 5 times, 33748. Rivian will probably change it. I hope they don't. I think this is important information for drivers to have. It will tell us everything about the battery pack, temperatures, and you can see our maximum battery temperature is 26.6 degrees Celsius. And it will tell us if the charger is derating, everything we need to know for this test. So I'll set both trucks up with this, make sure all the chargers are operating at their fullest capacity, and then we will be ready to rip. But the trucks are preconditioned. I'm at 11% right now. As soon as Jordan pulls around, I'll rip the heater on high, pull it down to 10, then we'll start the test. We are at the chargers. Alyssa, thanks for swinging by.
Yeah.
You won't be joining. You have your e-tron over there.
No,
We honestly should have used it to block the spot, but it's okay. Jordan got it.
Oh.
What are we at now? 11% still?
Yep.
Okay, waiting for it to dip down to 10. We got the heaters on full send. You have your fog lights on. We're 75. 2 degrees difference. I would say this is pretty close, Jordan.
Pretty darn close.
Pretty darn close. As good as we can get it. This is only our second attempt today.
I swear. Good thing I didn't plug into that station.
I know, Jordan pulled into the 150 kilowatt. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Grab the chat on my handle.
And mine has just hit 10%. I shut everything off. I am down there officially. And Jordan shouldn't be more than another couple seconds to hit 10%, I don't think. You still at 11?
Still 11. I wish
Okay.
it was more granular.
Yeah, no, it should only be a couple seconds, then it'll drop down. Jordan, so the plan, we are both at 10% now.
Yep.
They completed within 1 minute of each other.
Very close.
So that was great. Battery pack temperatures are within 2 degrees, as we're as close as we can get it. We'll run everyone through the drive modes, but with all of our 10% challenges, we are going to time roughly the handshake process, and then they will charge for 15 minutes exactly. Now, fingers crossed we don't run into any charging issues.
This is our second time doing this.
This is our second time doing the test today. And in theory, this site has 3 power modules feeding 3 high power chargers, and then the ABB one has a separate one in there. So technically 4 power modules, chargers for 4 dispensers. I would say, let's freaking do it, yeah?
Yep.
And we are started 5 seconds later. Payment's been initiated. How about your side?
Initiating charging.
Okay. Keep an eye on the screen on the truck. That's where it'll show when it starts to charge. I think contactors have not gone yet. And so we're just about to start charging. Come on, baby. Did yours start? Okay, Jordan started. Mine is starting as well. So we'll charge them for the exact amount of time. I mean, they really started within 2 seconds of each other. That was awesome. So now, are you in service mode, Jordan? Let's, if you can film everything from this point on your truck, I think the viewers would like to know charging speeds and all that stuff. So you can see my charger is indicating it can give us the full 500 amps, 498 in this case. We're already up pulling pretty much full power. And we're at 385 volts, doing 197 kilowatts at 11%. So let's, this is good. I'm going to let this puppy run. We have climate control on. Typically when we do this, I have to set it on in Jordan's truck. We're going to run 72 degrees on auto. And I feel like that's pretty comfortable. Let's roll up the windows so we don't lose any efficiencies. Again, we are trying to simulate how you would drive on a road trip. 200 kilowatts at 11%. That is pretty dang good. Maybe even slightly higher voltage. I don't know. Let's take a look at Jordan's truck with the large pack.
All right, as Kyle mentioned, we have service mode pulled up here on the Rivian, which gives you all sorts of crazy fun data. You could literally probably pore over this for hours, and maybe we'll make a video on that in the future. But there's a lot to unpack here. Going into the high voltage section, we can actually see that it can accept up to 500 amps from this unit, which is correct, which means nothing's being limited by the charger. And that means we should be seeing, let's see, we're pulling 400 amps currently, and that math checks out to about 167 kilowatts. So still kind of ramping up, and the timer is, we're just 1 minute into our charging stop. So yeah, we'll see how much juice we pull in the next 14 minutes remaining.
So you're not, we had the same battery pack temp. You're slightly warmer actually.
Yeah.
And the charger says it can give you everything.
Gives me everything.
And so it is the truck requesting less power at the moment.
Yep.
And I've seen my large pack do this sometimes.
Really? Where
it takes a couple minutes to go full send. My truck went straight to 500 amps.
Really?
Yep. Wow. So we have to do a lot of charging tests here. Yeah. Holy smokes. Yeah, because you're just sitting at...
Yeah, right around 400.
400 amps. And these are unlinked chargers, again, because they're both communicating they can do 500 amps. Jordan's at 170 kilowatts. This should shoot up here momentarily within just a couple seconds, I would think, based off of my truck's behavior. My truck is the same battery pack as the large pack in there, but you can see here already we're 207 kilowatts. So I much prefer this, obviously, plug in right to full speed at 10%. And again, the battery temperatures are the same. The charger's saying it can do everything. So it's the truck that's asking for less power. This is fascinating. Still just sitting at 400 amps.
Yep.
Wow.
Just bouncing around right around there. So yeah, 175 is like the highest brief peak I saw, but
yeah, it'll go a little bit, but let's just see what happens. I'm sure you'll bump up to 500 amps here momentarily.
We've reached 500 amps. So we're now pulling just over 200 kilowatts. Finally, that took a little bit for it to ramp up and figure out what the heck to do to itself. And our temperatures right here, battery maximum cell temperature 32 degrees, that is Celsius. If that reaches 55 in our experience, that means it will actually derate, which is what we're trying to avoid. One proponent of us filming out here in the cold might hurt our range a little bit, but it will possibly improve our charging, which may be like a near as makes no difference situation, or give and take, however you describe that. So maybe we'll get slightly less range out there, but then faster charging. It all kind of adds together. We'll see. This is why we do these tests at all times of year too. We're great in Colorado out here. We do get all 4 seasons more or less. So these colder weather temperatures, I mean, it's the second day of winter right now. This is what we can expect. Climbing a little bit there, 33 degrees, but full 500 amps. Yeah, it's just bouncing around, just 500, slightly under. Very, very bouncy, and that's kind of what we expected. So just over 200 kilowatts.
Yeah, so Jordan's truck has now hit 500 amps, which means I'm about 2 kilowatt hours ahead of him. We're at 11 point something, he's at 10.5, and we're at 12. So we're about 1.5 kilowatt-hour advantage here because this thing just shot straight to 500 amps or so. And you can see it's not quite doing 500 amps, 490 or so, but it is just doing 202, 205 kilowatts. A little bit of fluctuation, but both trucks are doing it, so I would say that's pretty normal. The worrying part here is the hour 25 minutes to 100%. This thing really, I'm guessing, top charges poorly. I'm not 100% sure what the chemistry changes between the trucks, but there definitely seems to be it, and that seems to be the only difference. The cooling is the same, the pack structure is the same, it's just a chemistry change. Lucid has also just introduced a new chemistry change for the Gravity, and I imagine they're using these cells, just a guess, because the Lucid Dream vehicles were using the same cells out of that battery pack as well, the Samsung cells. As we come through here, we've charging for 5 minutes now. Our battery pack voltages are the same as we are at the same exact state of charge. Actually, Jordan's at 18%, I'm at 19%, but voltages are pretty much identical. And Jordan, what's your take? Shouldn't have Rivian done 800 volt for max pack and gone big send?
That would have been so great. Cybertruck's going to win on that.
Yeah, Cybertruck's going to win on that. However, the recent screenshots I've seen of Cybertruck charging have been pretty bad.
Yeah, maybe it's not going to win. I don't know. It's still a great truck.
I love my Rivian, and I don't know. I don't think I'd get rid of it for a Cybertruck. I would add a Cybertruck because it would make great content. It'd be a good, obviously, business decision to try and get one, and we are trying to get one.
And a Hummer and a Lightning.
Yeah, I want them all. Alyssa loves the Hummer. She's like, we got to get one. Anyway, we're still ripping. My maximum battery pack temperature is up to 35.6. Where are you at there, Jordan?
35.8.
Oh, we are the same maximum cell temperature.
little blips at 212, but otherwise it's mostly at 209 to 210. And we're climbed up to 38 degrees Celsius now. Still pulling the full amount of amperage from the charger itself, which is great. So yeah, just staying at basically max speed for now, but about just over halfway into our charging session, and we're at 24% state of charge.
I am at, I don't know what percent, 27%, and I just came off 200 kilowatts. I'm now down to 180. I was doing like 210, so this must be this is my first time charging this truck on a full speed charger, so this must be the first ledge of the max pack. Jordan, how fast are you charging?
I just hit 420 volts, and I'm at 213 kilowatts right now.
So you're charging faster now?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Again, the charger can deliver full. Typically, we see Rivians won't derate until about 55 degrees C. So this is not a charger or truck limitation or a charger limitation. This is the truck's requested charging curve at 28%, which means Jordan might start catching up here as we get close to the 15-minute mark, unless he tapers here pretty soon.
28% now.
You're at 28%, I'm at 29%. But I got more capacity at 29%.
That's true.
How much more? Wait for the next video. We're going to go full charge to dead and see how much extra capacity this has. So we've definitely hit a ledge here. Definitely different charging performance. You would expect different charging performance from a different cell chemistry. I'm going to leave that door just cracked so the climate control stays on. Let's Polestar 2 rental car pulling in. Bunch of those around. Let's see how we're doing over here. 34. Oh, we've delivered the same amount of energy now. Jordan is still ripping 215 kilowatts here, 34.5 kilowatt hours delivered, 35 kilowatt hours here, 186 kilowatts. So we are slowing down, and the old large pack here.
Old faithful.
Honestly, I have beat the crap out of my battery pack on my truck, and it just rocks.
Yeah.
Charger shows 217. I'm doing 184 in the max pack.
Wow.
I did not expect that. I thought this would hold 500 amps longer.
It should.
I hit it earlier
Yeah.
than you did. So perhaps they have like a 10-minute boost,
That's possible.
but I've never experienced that on my truck. But this is also new software.
Yeah. We've still got 425 volts now, still full amperage.
Yeah, if you taper, I mean, that's the thing. You're following what I see on my truck. And this all looks normal from your side here.
Yeah.
The max pack can't sustain the power. Wait, I'm down to 155 now?
Yikes.
What is going on here? Jordan's doing 218 kilowatts on the large pack in this particular one, and I'm down to 154. What is going on? Yeah, charger still says 500 amps maximum allowable. Temperatures are fine. 150 kilowatts at 33%? Is there something going on? Not looking great at the moment for me.
All right, right after we rolled off 35%, it also rolled off the maximum charging speed. So we're now just under 200 kilowatts. Basically, yep, it's requesting 450 amps now instead of 500. So that seems to be the ledge of the charging curve that we've reached the next section of. So just about a little over a minute left before we jump off, hit the road, and see what we can do.
Okay, within 1 minute remaining, I'm about 10 seconds behind Jordan, we've determined.
38% state of charge, and we are right about to hit 15 minutes here. It's like watching a pot of water boil. 39%. I think I'm catching up to you.
I'm at 37.
Wow, I've already passed you.
Yeah, but more
But you have
capacity.
You have more range, yep, most likely. Okay.
I don't know. This is not what I expected. 155 kilowatts. This is terrible.
And 15 minutes.
Okay,
Stop.
that means I'm only a few seconds behind. 15 minutes, stop. So 47.2 kilowatt hours on mine, and you got 50.
50.
So you got more energy.
Yep.
Whoa! What the heck?
This thing rips.
Wow. Okay, so let's shut off climate control, and then I'll run everyone through the setup for the trucks. Okay, Jordan, we don't have much time, but let's just go through the truck setup together. If you can hit exit service mode there on the left side. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we'll go to, because this is the dual motor variant, there is no conserve mode. It has its own clutch disconnect on the rear axle that will automatically disconnect. By the way, to the viewers, we already set tire pressures. So disconnect on the rear axle, it will do that automatically. We're gonna force the trucks into low suspension. We'll run headlights without fogs. 72 degrees on auto. We already tested this truck. 81 miles per hour indicated is 80 GPS.
Yep, same with this truck.
And your battery pack's at 117. Let's take a look at what this one's at. Did not even get close to where it would derate based off temperature. Turn off service mode. I'm at 108. So your battery got warmer.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this derates for a better top charge, if it wants to do deeper charges.
That'd be interesting.
That would be not the out of spec way. All right. To the folks, please don't spill your coffee when you get out of your car, because I've been slipping in and out of this for the last 20 minutes. Okay, in the truck we go. I've forced the truck in low all purpose. We're going to kick 72 degrees auto as soon as we pull out of here. Jordan, you ready to reset trip A?
Yep, I just reset trip.
Okay, reset trip A. Boom. Your climate's on?
Yep.
Mine is officially on auto now. Great, let's go. Also, a little bit of a software bug. No lines on this particular one. I got to do a little soft reset to bring them back, I think. And I can't change the camera angles. So, all good. Into drive. Got to turn the headlights on to auto. There we go. Let's do this thing.
We are off, and we'll see what we do. I'm very, very curious to see these two trucks side by side. I think these tests are a bit more interesting in the comparison space versus the individual trucks. Still good testing individually, but very fun to have them side by side. I'm gonna jump over to the highway here. We are again in Loveland, hopping on 25 North.
Here we go, pulling out of the parking lot in the Max Pack. Jordan is just ahead of us. And I have to say, my initial impressions on that charging performance was weak. That was not a $10,000 upcharge experience from my perspective. So I'm going to come alongside Jordan here. We're going to jump on I-25 North, head on our typical loop. They've actually now finished all the construction, so we can do 80 as soon as we jump on the highway. And dang, that is
Nice truck.
filming inception. Did I miss any settings? Are we all set up the same?
I think so.
I think we're good.
We're good.
All right. Gentle accelerations.
Gentle acceleration. World's lamest drag race.
Normally we'd be sideways. Jordan would crash into a curb, have some fun around the corners, but no, we're testing, so we got to go nice and gentle. We made both green lights, and we are now merging onto the highway. A little bit busier than I would like. It is Christmas weekend, and we are going to maintain some speed around the corner here.
Gentle acceleration up to highway speeds.
We are locked in at 81 miles per hour indicated. You can see we are running just front wheel drive because the truck does not require, well, autopilot or whatever this thing is called. Driver Plus really likes to hug the right lane. I had to pull it to the left. You can see it just needs the front axle. The rear axle automatically disconnects. In the quad motor trucks, there's a physical clutch disconnect that you have to click a button for conserve mode. This one has a physical clutch disconnect inside the motor, and it is automatic. And you do feel it clunk in and out occasionally. Yeah, this section of I-25 is not mapped, so we're just gonna set cruise control and do manual steering. And all is good. We're going by the Tesla superchargers in Loveland, just over here. Jordan's far enough away behind me where he's not getting an aero advantage. So let's do this thing.
The fan was running because the battery was so warm. We have already cooled down a little bit here. The battery's dropped 10 degrees Fahrenheit already, which is fantastic.
We have now made it to the other side of Fort Collins. You can see Jordan's in the large pack there in the left lane, so he doesn't get any drafting ability. We're really trying to do this as properly as we can. Again, just sitting right at 80 miles an hour. So the good news is well, I guess two things. Bad news, we're gaining some elevation going this way. Good news, we'll turn around and gain most of it back. So what we'll probably do is go just a little bit more than halfway, I would say, and then we'll turn around and come back. Still, Rivian gives you a mile estimate when you arrive to a charger with with the navigation system. I really wish they would show me percentage on arrival. The rated miles in Rivian really don't mean much to me, especially when you're traveling at such high speeds. If you drive 65, 70 miles an hour, you can match EPA in Rivian a lot easier than other cars, but most people don't drive that slow. So we're gonna knife our way through some of this traffic right up here. I also want to mention we will be preconditioning to the next charging station when we make the loop back. We'll precondition back to the EA station. The reason we do that is because that's what you'll do on a road trip, is precondition charger to charger, and it uses a bit more range. And of course, external factors do play into this, but it is cold outside, 34 degrees right now Fahrenheit, so almost freezing. And so this is definitely a cold weather 10% challenge, but the only time we can run these tests without traffic is at night, and well, it's December, end of December. So this is what we have to deal with. But we get winter time, and maybe we'll run it again in the summertime. We should see a little bit better results in the summertime, just because the air will be slightly less dense, and of course, well, I would say heating makes a little bit of an impact, but yeah, just minor in this case since everything's already up to temperature. And actually, what the Rivian's going to do is, rather than heating the battery for the next stop, it's actually going to be cooling it down, because it targets that low to mid 70 degree temperature range on arrival. So most preconditioning in Rivian, unless it's really cold outside and your truck is frozen, is actually cooling the battery charger to charger. And in the case of heating it, it uses the motors to heat the battery pack most effectively. So if you ever see your Rivian motor temperatures go into the red, that is because it's using the waste heat from the motors, running them inefficiently to heat up the battery through the high voltage cooling loop. I know I'm throwing a lot at you in this video, but hey, I don't get to make Rivian videos every day, only every other day. So got to keep you all updated. I'm going a set speed. This person has been traveling next to me for 5 minutes. I've tried honking, hitting my turn signal, saying, dude, don't drive next to me. The guy behind him's been flashing him. He just wants to drive right next to us. Anyway, I'm ready to make a quick evasive maneuver if he falls asleep at the wheel. You join me later on. We have now switched spots. Of course, no one's behind me, but he just wants to go our exact speed. He cut right in front of me, and I had to move over so that I wasn't drafting him. So, okay, maybe he's also doing an 80 mile per hour efficiency test in his vehicle. I don't know how he would have caught up to me pretty quickly too, but he did. Anyway, I was just calculating at what point we want to turn around, and in theory, if we were on flat ground, we would turn around at about 24% indicated. That would get us back with 10. But since we're gaining a little bit of elevation now, and we're going to turn around and lose it, I think we'll go maybe one exit past where we hit 24%. There aren't many exits along this route, so we kind of have to take what we can get. We may make it all the way into Wyoming and then turn around and come back, but we do lose quite a bit of elevation on the return. So we'll do the best we can, given there aren't many turnaround options here. The one thing we really can't do is go south of the Loveland Charger, though, because at that point, there's just too much traffic. Of course, we're going to cross 10% while we're cruising at 80 miles an hour. And who knows, maybe this guy will make the loop with us and he can join us for the adventure. We are coming up to our exit point right over here, so I'm going to scrub 1 or 2 miles an hour just so we can make our exit. And Jordan and I are going to swap positions. His truck is just slightly more efficient. I just got off the phone with him, and that is as expected, because on the way down he was also just slightly more efficient. And I think I have an estimation as to why. I'm not really totally sure, but okay, we're going to pull off here. As soon as we're on the overpass, we are going to, we'll say goodbye to our friend in the GMC Terrain. See you later, dude. We're going to program in the EA station, swap positions, and head on back. And at this rate, I think we may actually have to go past the Charger in the other direction a little bit, but that'll be okay. Interestingly, I'm at 24%, and he's at, I think, 27, 28. You'll see in the video, of course.
Interestingly, just got off the phone with Kyle. I guess he is a little bit lower stated charge than I am, and I seem to be a bit higher efficiency with 1.69 miles per kilowatt hour. Oh, there goes my water bottle.
So there goes Jordan. We're going past. Nice, just swapping positions. Let's go here to navigate to Electrify America, simulating a road trip where you'd precondition charger to charger. As we merge onto the highway, we'll do gentle accelerations back up to 81 miles per hour indicated. You can see battery is preparing for fast charging now, so it is actively cooling the battery, whether it's using the chiller or just letting some of the outside cold air flow into the coolant loop. I'm not 100% sure.
Ramping back up to highway speed and to our 81 indicated /80 GPS verified speed.
And there we go. Very good. Locked and loaded. Back we go.
1.6-ish miles per kilowatt hour is not incredible, but it is 32 degrees, actually down to 30 degrees now. So we are in that slightly about or below freezing temperatures and the higher speeds. These are not our 70 mile an hour range test speeds. As Kyle mentioned, these are slightly higher, more typical Midwestern road trip speeds. And so a lot of people will be seeing this as kind of a quick road trip jaunt, just to see what you get in 15 minutes, which some cars like the Taycan absolutely rip and get a ton of range. Other cars like the BZ4X, yeah, not even close.
We are cruising on the return now, and you can see our efficiency is just going through the roof as we lose some elevation. That's why we always run a loop style test. It's not perfect, of course. I'd love to be in a laboratory on flat ground, but here in the real world, the best we can do is a loop to counteract any wind or elevation. And all is going well here. Our speedometers are perfectly calibrated. Of course, the Rivian is picking up Jordan's all the way up there, but it's not, doing any adaptive cruise slowdown or anything like that.
So we are navigating to the charger, and I am preconditioning. I'm assuming Kyle is doing the same thing. Just hit 20% stated charge. Still cruising down. We now have this private express lane. It's fantastic. So very consistent speeds, which is great. And for efficiency's sake, we are looking at just under 2 miles per kilowatt hour. Totally decent for 80 miles an hour. That's really, honestly, quite good for the temperatures and the speed, if you ask me.
We have made it to our second turnaround point. We've gone past the charger where we started, and I'm at 13% right now, and I think down here in the valley is the Loves. We can turn around and head back up to the charger. Checking with Jordan, it sounds like our efficiencies are pretty much dead on, which you would make sense. I think he's just a hair ahead, but that's okay. It looks like we're going to be exiting here. So regen down and off. By the way, even under full regen at highway speeds, it leaves the rear motor disconnected. So cruising wise, that rear motor is mostly off and it runs front wheel drive the majority of time. The thing is, certainly around town, you feel it connecting and disconnecting a lot more. So
looks like large pack is doing quite well, if you ask me. Here in our efficiency, you can see we are just under 2 miles per kilowatt hour as a total, which is again pretty good. That's where I'm at, and that's actually pretty comparable to where Kyle is at as well. And we just hit 10% right before the exit. That's incredible timing. And exactly 1.95 miles per kilowatt hour, 85 miles on the dot, on the nose, whatever the saying is. That's really, I don't know, pretty impressive. And I think Kyle is getting off the highway, which means probably about the same thing.
10%, 84.4 miles, 1.97 miles per kilowatt hour. We used 43 kilowatt hours, and we have hit it a half a mile from our exit. That is perfect freaking timing. Totally could not ask for a better test than that. And temperatures here at 32%. That was awesome. I'm assuming Jordan hit it because he's exiting here. Okay, so perhaps he just hit it as well. That's really close between the trucks if that's the case.
We're gonna compare our results when we get back to the charger, but that is exactly 10% challenge.
And we have arrived. Battery temperature at 78 degrees, and I can see Jordan's is at 77. Wow, we really nailed that one, Jordan. So what was your final result?
So 85 miles on the nose and 1.93 was it? I filmed it, but
yeah, same here.
1.9, I don't know.
Okay.
Almost 2 miles per kilowatt hour, but just under.
I think we must have been identical.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So the charging was wildly different. I had a big head start and then it died, and you kind of took off gentle and then ramped up.
Yeah, I thought I was a goner when we first started. I was like, well, that's it.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's where all the money's going, to this thing. And then
we just had the same road trip experience just now.
I'm just a little bit lighter because I lost 10 grand.
Yeah. I have a lot more money for
lunch is on you. Okay, that's an amazing result. So I think we'll leave that there. We're going to do some charge testing on them now that they've gone through, again, the same thing. We're going to charge them. We have to go drain them to 0, charge them to 100. Then sneeze, range test. And then after the range test, I can't believe my tonneau is like perfection, by the way. We're going to do range test and then capacity test.
Yep.
And then I think we're pretty much good on the testing.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I really wish it was summertime, but whatever. We need to work in the winter too.
A lot of people want to know what happens in the winter. So.
Yeah, winter time. I guess we have some pretty solid numbers in the winter. We can just rerun the same exact thing on a low wind day in the summer.
Yep.
Wow, this is so cool. Okay, well, again, shout out to these guys. Link is in the description. And if you need a home charger installed in the Denver, Colorado area, this will probably be the truck that goes and does that. And I actually think I'm going to have them come and rewire my house.
Yeah.
Because mine keeps exploding.
Jason knows a thing or two. He bought the right Rivian.
Yeah, and Jason, this isn't his first electric car. He had Teslas.
With high miles that he's been piling on. So
yeah. This dude knows what's going on, and he was just so cool of him to loan us his literally brand new truck. And again, thanks to Rivian for loaning us this one. Even though they knew, I have to give props to Rivian. They knew I had reservations about the Max Pack, and they still let us have it to test it.
And it still is a bit more range at home. Like if you're charging at home and you need that like little bit extra, it still has a bit more. I mean,
and we're going to see what that little bit more actually is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we'll end this video now. Let's go drain them to 0 and another video, do a charging test.